You know, whenever I look at Adele's portrait, you know what I immediately think of? This is the right way to play Adela. Before we get into the video, hit the subscribe button so you're always notified whenever I put out another right way to play. Or if you want to see any of my other content, I put out a lot of stuff. It's not just turn with third around these parts, baby. Yeah, you haven't seen one of these in like a month. So Adela is fucking impossible. Adela is a very complicated character, and a lot more so than Emma was. I thought Emma was gonna be the peak of complicated, but then they threw Adela out, and I'm like, what the fuck? I just look at the abilities. What? Listen. GMs, if you're listening, you're probably not, but if you end up watching this, please clean up the text on her abilities, because each one is a freaking 3-paragraph MLA format essay, and nobody wants to read that shit. B, it doesn't read very well. Like, I can read this out loud right now, and none of it would register. This makes absolutely no sense to anybody. I'm gonna break it down real fast, really quick, without all this fancy text of what each of these abilities do. Alright, that's how we're gonna kick this off. Her Q goes bang. Alright? Her W goes bang, bang. And if it hits your Q, it knocks them up. Her E, you throw it, you can switch places with it, and it makes everything it hits go bang. And her R is to sell a W, but when you land, you go make everything go bang again. Her passive makes her a ranged character, and her attack speed gets converted into attack power. There we go. That's the whole character. But the complexity happens because depending on where you place these abilities, you can knock the other pieces around. So you have a lot of pieces to keep track of. Namely, you generally have 3 pawns, a queen, a rook, and a knight, all to keep track of where they are. But we're not going to pay attention to that for this video, because you don't need to really pay attention to those pieces to be mediocre at the character. I didn't put the 50 hours in this character that you need to know how to do that. Sorry, I only put the 20 hours that you need in order to play this character effectively. But since I'm going to break it down, we're going to shorten that time to like 5 hours. So that's Adela. Let's talk about max order. You guys piss me off. What I don't understand is why when I say you max Q first on Razi, that I get roasted, right? Because everybody's like, oh, why would you max Q first? You can max W first and reduce the cooldown of your W so you can use it more often. W is a pretty good ability. So why are we maxing Q first on Adela? Because it gives more damage, right? Wasn't that my exact reason for maxing Q on Razi? Come on, guys. That being said, I don't like maxing Q first on Adela. I think maxing EWQ is significantly more effective. Not only do you get to escape much easier and much more frequently with your E, but you get a lot more CC value out of it, because your W is your knockup, remember? Getting to queen with your pawns is all well and good and gives you a stun, but it's not nearly as effective as just having a W press and then you just get a knockup. So that's your CC ability. Yeah, so the way I max it is E passive WQ. Just to clarify after my rant. Let's talk about builds. I tried a lot of builds. In fact, I tried almost every conceivable build on this character. That being straight attack power, straight attack speed, mix of those two. Skill amplification, tanky, just straight up tanky. What I didn't try until the very, very end, and this is the way I like to play her, and this is the way that I think you should play her. Hybrid, and this is the build. Va 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 ba, ba ba ba. Put in some effects. Ba. That's the build. I'm sure you might have seen it. You might not have. I sure didn't fucking see it when I was looking around for a build. This is the right way to play her, in my opinion. That right there, it gives you a little bit of skill amplification, a little bit of attack speed, a little bit of crit, a little bit of everything, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, ba ba ba. That is the way to play her. Because of the way her passive works with the attack speed scaling and the crit scaling, it gives you just enough of all of that to make her really freaking strong. The other build I liked was the big auto attack, and that's kind of a meme. It doesn't really work all that well, just because there's so much crit mitigation, so much, everybody's so freaking tanky all the time, and your attack speed is just so low. You only get to like 2 or 3 autos off, and your abilities are just worthless at that point. They provide CC, nothing else. This is why I think this is better, because it makes your abilities and your auto all do damage at the same time. Now, the crit is actually not in this build for damage. I use the critical strike chance. It only gets up to about 30 to 40%, and I use that as a chase tool, because that is the best way you're gonna have to chase people. I like to save the rook in case third partied or fifth partied, as one might get in this game quite frequently, happens. You have a way to get out of there. But using your crit strike as a chase tool, because whenever you crit, Adela gets bonus move speed, and that just lets you kind of chase infinitely, because if you get an auto with the crit, you're gonna run them down even faster, and then you'll get in range of your promotion, and then bah, that's the kill. This is the basic combo that I use when I play Adela. QWE in very quick succession. I see a lot of people, they'll E first and then QW, which is also a good combo. But I like to really confuse the people where the rook is, because people know that Adela's gonna blink to the rook or not blink to the rook. So, and you're also missing out on the rook's additional damage, because when it hits other pieces, it procs their abilities again. So I like to QW, it gets the knockup, right? And then when you E through all the pieces, all those pieces pop on top of them and do more damage. It's a great burst tool, and we all know that this game, there's a lot of burst in this game. You really need to utilize as much burst as you can, because people will get surprised, and a lot of times people forget to eat food before entering a fight, and that's a good way to surprise them so they don't get the extra ticks. Queen promotion only really happens in very, very extended fights, because you need to queue 3 times, and then your 4th queue is going to be the queen. That just does it. It's unrealistic. That doesn't happen in this game all that much. Fights are very, very fast, or because once someone realizes they're losing, they're going to start running. This character is extremely difficult. They put her as a 3-star character or whatever, difficulty level 3. I'd go as far as to put her as a difficulty level 4. You will have to put time in on Adela to learn how to play her effectively. Please just take her into a normal game, maybe 10 normal games, and just try to figure her out.